Great to see you guys. Great to be on this journey together. A lot of good stuff we're going to get into today. You might want to have pen and paper and maybe something to drink, cozy socks. I hope that you took time for your self-care today already and yesterday and all week. I hope that you're starting to have a different relationship with your love of yourself. That's so important. That's really so much of what's going to be the fuel to allow you to succeed in all that you're hoping to do. It really is. It's the key to everything. It's really about cultivating the life that actually feels like success to you, right? And it starts with, what can you allow for yourself today that feels like arriving in this moment and slowing down and getting out of the fight or flight response and just actually savoring and learning to talk to yourself in a different way, that you're not unconscious about these thoughts like you're behind and it's never going to work and you're too this and you're too that. It's like it's really way overdue to begin to have a different relationship with ourselves. It puts us totally into the moment when we actually stop that unconscious train. So we're going to start now. So just go ahead and close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. And I just want to remind you that there's nothing you need to figure out right this second. There's no one you need to take care of besides yourself right now. There's nothing right now you have to do besides being here. Take a deep breath. And just notice, be a witness. How's your body right now? Is there any tension? Anything that you want to bring some compassion, some gentleness to? How are your shoulders? How's your neck? How's your jaw? You don't have to carry the things that aren't yours. And just notice your mind like it's you looking out at the ocean. Just be curious. Is your mind thinking about the past, future, worried? And the part of you that's a witness to all of this is the part of you that is your essential self. Wise and truly connected to all that is. Just the I am. And that part of you is always within reach. Part of you is beyond time. What do you need that part of you to tell you today? What wisdom lives in the center of your being? What do you need to know? And what does that future look like? The one in your heart, the one you can't stop dreaming about. I want you to allow your essential self to show you coming home to yourself. I want you to see yourself sitting on a bench on a beautiful day. Sun is shining, the weather is crisp, and you see yourself speaking with someone you love. And there's such peace because you are the authentic expression of you. How does it feel to witness yourself aligned, at ease, playful, excited, soft? Take in that vision and start to feel how your energy is starting to vibrate. You're becoming the radio for a beautiful reception, and the song is so good, and your heart is dancing to that song. How would it feel to memorize this feeling and stay in it all day? What would you say and what would you do and how would you be if this was your energy for the day? When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Maybe you want to write something down about how you feel or what shifted or what you were just reminded of. That's you, right? That's you working with your own energy just now, finding your way back. How that feels. What shifted for you just now? What did you just realize? Or what was just something you noticed? Maybe you noticed something that made you actually frustrated. Or some days you're going to be more willing to find your nervous system at ease. Some days not as much. It's okay. Part of the process. It's a practice. How much fear is trapped deep within me? Yeah, it's interesting. The fear is not really in here as much as it's in here. And then it kind of gets like caught up in ourselves and our shoulders, right? We have like a way we hold it. And so we're trying to find our way down to the center, right? In the core of our being where there's nothing to do, there's no rush. And we can just enjoy the feeling of life moving through us. It's an unbelievable experience, such a gift. What do you remember that you already know when we do an exercise like that in meditation? I love these. I am a miracle. I am spirit. I am whole and worthy. I'm light. I have all I need within me. I am magical, connected to divinity. I am already whole, no limits. I am limitless. Yeah. I'm powerful. I am whole and worthy. I am light, love, and whole. I am a creative force. I am beauty. Is it true? Is there any part of you, from the wisest part of you, that thinks it's just something nice for me to say? Or is there a part of you that knows like it knows like it knows? I'm just reminding you of what you already knew. And identity is the most powerful. It's the most powerful way into our ability to manifest, because we will constantly and consistently allow ourselves to experience what is in line with who we tell ourselves we are. And when you step in to the mystic, you walk as the mystic. You walk with the divine. You walk knowing that each one of us has been installed inside of us the most amazing program, software, hardware. We can love another person into life. You guys have seen those incredible moments where a baby in an incubator, they don't think is going to make it, and its baby twin loves it into life. You've seen plants where somebody talks to it and it finds its way back into life force. You've seen moments. I had a moment the other day. We're staying in these bungalows because we're visiting Florida, and we're pulling into the bungalows, and this very sweet security guard, and there's kind of a new one every couple of days, but he was new at the time. And I pull in, and he says, "Where are you going?" And I tell him the bungalows. And then he says, "How's your day?" And I say, "What a beautiful thing." I go, "I had a great day. How was your day?" He goes, "It was all right. It was all right." And I said, when you ask people a question like that, the way you just asked, God's going to bless your life. And he gets out of the booth, walks over to the car, and he takes my hand. I live for moments like that. We can love another person into life. And what if every blessing, every ounce of abundance, from the kind of experiences you want to have to the wealth you want to steward, what if all of that is through the looking glass of your own loving vibration, period? What if the world works in our favor? And what if fortune does favor the brave? Because we wind up in synchronicity. We wind up meeting the mystical when we are a vibration that comes from this loving, creative I am, because the whole world is atomic, because the only impressive, powerful force is a coherent signal, a wholeness, an energy that is whole into and of itself, because it knows it is supported and part of a oneness. So this is the invitation, and this is the complete and total reframe, which allows you to get out of the fog and back home, to do the real work, to show up for your destiny, to get busy. Mother Teresa said that even the most amazing person didn't scratch the surface on their potential, because our capacity to love, our capacity to have an inspired thought, our capacity to solve a problem by seeing something bigger than someone else saw it already, all comes from tuning in and tapping into this greater, endless abundance that flows through us and to us, period. So we're going to get into some fun stuff today. And really, the truth of the truth of the truth, and you know this, is that every one of you deserves to feel shouted out for going on this journey, for being here. You should celebrate yourself. In fact, I said to you at the very beginning, I said, I want you to write it down. What will you do for yourself that you showed up to do this kind of physical therapy, right? This is like deep, like getting into the fascia, right? Meeting yourself, confronting yourself where you go unconscious and changing the tuning. That is powerful. And you deserve to love yourself and be proud of yourself for being willing to show up for that kind of assignment. So I said, what will you do at the end of 12 weeks to celebrate yourself? Please celebrate me all, right? For yourself. What will you do for yourself? So can I just get a little bit of that buy-in from you? Even if it's taking yourself out for an iced tea or taking a walk in your most favorite place and writing yourself a note. Dear Sierra, dear Samantha, dear Michelle, dear Robin, dear Claudia, dear Kathy, I see you. I watched you. I know that inner fight. I know it better than anybody else. I know what you come up against. And even if it was only 20 seconds or 15 minutes collectively throughout this 12 weeks, I saw you choose a new station. I saw you move out of that chemical addiction of cortisol and lack. I watched it. That's a miracle. We talked about this. A miracle doesn't have to be just because the sea splits. A miracle is you having a new perception. Boy, is that big. Leaving the conditioning, stepping back into, what experience do I consciously want to create? And boom, I can change my frequency, which will change my entire life. So I want you to make that a priority to celebrate yourself. Beautiful. Plan a trip with my family. Chris said, I will write myself a love letter from my higher self today. I love it. Evelyn said, taking my kids to Cancun. Sierra said, I told myself I would redecorate my office. I love creating spaces that feel really yummy. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. What shifted for you in these 12 weeks? What did you notice? What shifted in here and what shifted out here? Was there anything that you saw that you said, wow, that feels different, even if it's just really subtle? Did the water start to boil at all? What did you notice? Standing in my power, my whole inner mindset, I got less irritated with daily life and logistics, leading other women, shining my light. I'm no longer trying to believe in abundance. I wholeheartedly believe in it. Came back to my body. I can feel love for myself, calm, more grace. Yeah. So let's go to the next thing. We started this conversation a few months ago now. We talked about how when it comes to money or when it comes to anything, you can't have more of a relationship with something you have a bad relationship with because your subconscious likes to keep you safe. And so if you have a bad relationship with something, there's an iron door. It's closed. What do you think about money today? What's changed for you? What's different about money? Even if it's subtle. What do you think about people who have it? What do you think about yourself having it? How willing are you to give yourself permission to be wealthy? What would it feel like? I love money. I'm more indifferent to it. I'm not embarrassed to have it. Feeling safe. I love money. Money is a friend, not a foe. It's a tool. That's right. It flows in and out. Yep. It's meant to flow through me. Let's repeat. Money comes from the word currency. We talk about this, right? And currency comes from the word current. It's a current. It's a river. It's got to keep moving. It's about the oneness. Someone, some of the one. That current, you get to be part of what stewards that river, period. How different does that feel? You are some of the one. There is no separation. We are in this together. And so what do we want to do to create a more abundant world? We want to be a bigger vessel, period. A bigger vessel is the name of the game. We are learning to feel safe, to be a greater vessel, period. And that vessel, that reception, what does it do? It gives to the whole. That's it. It feels so good to receive, and it feels so good to give it and to keep doing that. The grace and humility of, see, when you receive, you set down the ego. It's only the ego that has a hard time receiving, but the leaves on a tree have no problem receiving from the tree, right? So when you know that you're part of it all, you know that you're part of the garden, you want to thrive. It's only the ego that has a whole bunch of old myths about what will protect you, and it happens to come up against receiving. But when you receive, you actually become less self-centered with a small s and more self-centered with the big capital S, who you really are. Grace. Let it in. Receive it. And so part of what happens is we start to receive what's already here. We learn to receive. And so how much can we tune into the technicolor, multi-gorgeous kaleidoscope of the receiving that's already here for us, inviting us to take in? How much deep familiarity can we have with the concept of feeling satisfied? Where in our life can we drink in how satisfying it is to be alive at the same time in space, in the quantum, with the people that we are doing this life with? Can you feel the fullness, nothing lacking in certain ways that you can focus your mind? You can feel wholeness. There is no lack. And the more you develop that, you realize, oh my gosh, I am so plugged into the abundance now. There is nothing lacking. The thing that you feel lack around makes you think it's outside of you. But what you are thirsty for is the feeling you just had in meditation. It's the feeling of more energy, the wholeness of your own energy, the part of you that doesn't hold yourself apart, the part of you that is not in resistance. What you are seeking, anytime your brain tells you that abundance is outside of you, what you are actually really deeply seeking is to let go of resistance and to be in receptive mode. And that is what you felt during that meditation. Like, my God, this feeling of what I am, this feeling of what it is, this feeling of what reality actually looks and feels like. That is so much more delicious than any feeling you get walking out of Cartier. 3 days after you buy the new Range Rover, you don't feel it anymore. But that feeling, that's the gift that keeps on giving. And from there, you print. You just keep printing every experience. The most delicious, amazing people, the most delicious, amazing gifts. You become the mystical. You start to walk through doors you thought were closed. They just open. That's the most amazing feeling. And what we also did in this program is we talked about how to try on. Is there something that you would like to put in the world in exchange for abundance that comes through business? And we talked about, for me, teaching you business is really about purpose. It's really about being busy, being creative, and seeing yourself exchanging things that you can facilitate and create and hold space for and teach and birth into the world that can be exchanged for somebody else's transformation, which is just an awesome thing. And we talked about playing with it and having fun with it and changing our approach to it. And what an awesome invitation that is, because it's confronting and it starts to press on all these triggers about perfection and codependency, caring what people think, when really we can come from the energy of our own wholeness and we can claim it and put things in the world and we can call forward whoever we choose, right? We don't have to convince anyone. There's 8 billion people and we can choose our fishing hole. And we know that it's energy that we are always transacting around. And so what changed for you around that? How many of you put something out there? How many of you started to feel something open up around what could be for you if you wanted to do that and create something around your own business? I can tell you that I continue to get messages and emails from past students who've gone through that content, and that content has helped them to put things in place, and they have created beautiful lives for themselves. And so if that's something that you want, that's there, but it's not a must. You can create an abundant life. We just did it 5 minutes ago. And you can from there boil the water, and you will just be printing. You'll be manifesting all the time in so many different ways. You'll be available to receive it. Your energy will be a frequency that you will hear the music because you will be tuned to a different station. So you can get there in many different ways. Amazing what is available. I was kind of getting on my husband for a long time because I had this, being sarcastic, I had a brilliant idea to convince him to stop working, which is, God, I could do a series of 8 episodes on why that should not be a goal for anyone, especially a woman, to make a man believe that he should sit around because they have such a sense of purpose and their identity is so tied to feeling like they go out in the world and they do things. But anyway, one of the things that he did in the time where he was at home, because I convinced him to quit his job, is he took money that I was making and he turned it into more money because he found different ways to invest it. And I wound up looking back and I was like, wow, he turned that money into more money than he made at his last job. So in a way, because I didn't know shit about investing it in that way. And I thought that was just so cool. And part of it, I'll say this too, because we're all wired to a familiar pattern, it was almost as if I was wired into abundance coming in certain ways, like through my energy, right? Always working on that. And through my business, I'm also giving that some energy and attention. And it was almost like that next level of ease where like it could just come in without me doing anything, just by literally digitally putting it somewhere with the click of a button. It's like I couldn't even perceive it could be that easy, that I wouldn't have to like move my own energy. Because people say, oh, how could it be so easy that you can manifest and moving your own energy? That's the hardest thing to do in the world. It's the hardest shit there is, right? So it's like, yeah, it does work because everything's made of energy. Everything emits and vibrates off of and resonates, and we're constantly bouncing off each other's energy. So that is how it works, but it's actually pretty tough stuff, although it's really worth it when you get it. And then it starts to feel easy because you memorize it. I've become aware of my nervous system. I know how to regulate it. I mean, that'll change your whole life. That'll change your whole life because we manifest at the speed of safety. And when our nervous system doesn't feel safe, forget it. It is fascinating. I'll just share this really personal thing with you guys because I share everything, but it just so happens that when I'm home, grew up here, home. Well, I'm always home, right? We're home wherever we plant our feet, but this is where I grew up. And so in my family of origin, you guys know how this is. You walk into a room with people who've known you since you're 8, and now you're 8. So here I am the other day, and I noticed myself, even the way I'm sitting on the couch, like I have my knees up, my hands over my knees, and I'm like small, like invisible and small and really inauthentic and uncomfortable because I turn into like a complete and total pleaser because that was how I dealt with a lot of the chaos in my house growing up. And it's fascinating because the shakedown shows up because the part of me that is over it says, no, we got to change this. I have been in this dojo. I have been practicing daily this work since 2001, really. And I am a witness to, I can really feel my nervous system when I tell myself what is true and what is right. The courage and the strength it takes for me to make a new choice and show up differently in that environment, it feels like moving a mountain. It literally feels like I'm going to push a boulder over and I literally don't have the muscle. I'm like, oh, I'm out of power. Because when you're 4 and 6 and 8 and you wire something into your subconscious and that tells you this is life or death, this is what's safe and this is what's not, you're just like, okay. It's as if my current conscious brain is telling me to touch a hot stove and my unconscious goes, I know what that is. I'm not touching it. So I did make a pretty bold move and I'm going to have to continue to do that. And it is amazing. It is incredible how much freedom awaits us on the other side of doing the things that we know we need to do from the conscious version of ourselves. And we can ask ourselves, what experience do I want to create? And our nervous system is what is in the way. And in order to cross that ocean, we have to have the love and compassion for ourselves to tune in and to hold and to tolerate the amount of discomfort in this body on a somatic level. And we are bigger than it. We can hold it. We can. And so that is the thing that we're all up against in every way. And it's the same thing with putting yourself out there. It's the same thing with making money. It's the same thing with having new levels and visibilities. All of that is going to trigger the nervous system. And so I love this. If we can continue to keep that in our sights and to build a muscle to tell yourself, it is safe to be safe. It is safe to be abundant. It is safe to be authentic. You are safe to be authentic. You are safe. You're going to start to have a very different life. That is how it goes. Out of the blue, right? And why do we always hear people say, oh my God, it just came out of the blue. It was just so unexpected. Because that means you are no longer living in the past. When you step out of the thoughts and emotions that you've been reliving, when you set down the old identity that thinks and feels a certain cocktail of emotions and chemicals that come with those thoughts, when you set that down and you step into the conscious, you walk through the portal of potential, which is the present moment where all potentials actually exist, not from recreating the past over and over again by projecting the past from your old identity onto this present moment. When you set that down and you come back into that meditative place of I am energy, I am a vessel, let's go, I'm connected to the divine, I am someone, I am some of the one. That is the present moment. And that's when you say, came right out of the blue, because you're no longer in the pattern. That's what we're trying to do. We want to get beyond time, present moment. Where is God's time? Now. Eckhart Tolle, power of now. What does that mean? Present moment is now. It's all one long now, right? We stop reliving the conditions of the past. So that is why things come out of the blue, because you're new. You're now just consciousness, just you, just your soul. So you can experience all the divine blessings that are waiting for you to just set down the past, waiting for you to set down your old tuning, your old radio. Turn on new radio. Turn on new radio. Unexpected bonus. Boom. We want to live life to the fullest. So it's good energy. All right. So what am I saying that you are feeling is sort of your banner takeaway from this experience? What do you feel like you came here to remember? What am I reminding you to remember that you are going to take away from this experience? That this is the real. I'm worthy. I am a godly imprint. Yep. How many people can I love into life? That this is the proof of abundance we all swim in. New level of normal. Life is abundant. It's all possible. Come from wholeness. Yes. Who I am, always connect with the source. Not a fantasy. Surrender to the present moment. Yep. That's where all potential exists. Upgrade your energy. I am powerful right now. Create your success, no matter what they are. Yes. Do not dim my light. Be my authentic self. Yeah. What you keep choosing, just know, if you keep choosing something that's really a no, then you're not making space to choose whatever is a hell yes. So it costs you. We got to make those courageous adjustments. Life is magical. I'm part of the magic. Never forget what lights you up. It's time to come home to myself. Yeah, it's all here now. I'm back to the now. Bless you. On the truth. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about how you can kind of prepare for leaving this container. So I think it could be really helpful. Give yourself a commitment to do something really small. Don't take on something really big, because that's what invites all the gremlins in your head. But if you tell yourself you're going to do something really small, it won't trigger the gremlins. So the smallest step that you can be consistent with will actually be the biggest step, because you'll actually be able to do it because your brain won't fight you on it. So I would pick something really small and be consistent with it, like a 90-second meditation every day. 90 seconds every day where you're going to choose your thought, choose how you want to feel. What would ease feel like? What would abundance feel like? And then close your eyes and feel it in your body. What would it feel like to walk as the mystic today? That's it. Feel it for 90 seconds. That will change your life. And the thing about all of this is it's a practice and we keep getting deeper. I continue to meditate every day, and every day it's like new levels. I'm able to experience and expand to new levels. So another thing you could do is you could take one of the meditations that we've done, and that's something you could just decide, this is my practice now, because I know that Cathy kind of gets me back into my spot. So I'm just not going to go a morning without that. They're usually like 9 or 10 minutes. So maybe you make a commitment to do that, but pick something that feels doable where your brain won't come and take you down. And so I would just, very lovingly remind you that, as Tracy Litt said when she came in here, our mind, we shouldn't really believe most of what it tells us. And there's really no answers here, but all the answers are always in here. And when we kind of move from a place of consciousness, that's actually beyond the mind. Our consciousness is not in the analytical mind. Our consciousness is not in the amygdala. It's not back here. It's up here. And we actually can feel that in here and in our gut, right? And so we can ask ourselves these questions to get to the root of it. What would be a better experience for me to create? What else is here for me to receive? What do I need to remember right now? What do I need to know, right? And as we continue to do this work, it is amazing how all this old projection and the cocktail of chemicals, the things that we continue to think and believe that we know they're no longer serving us, we will continue to start to feel how much more is available. But I would love you guys to play a game with the universe. And I would love you to call God out and say, all right, let's see. If I start to move my vibration and I start to know and I start to feel safe receiving, will you send the mystical? Will you send the miracles? Will you allow them to be revealed because they were always hidden in plain sight? Try it. Try it. Call them out on it. The creator of this world, call it out. Just see what happens by the end of the day. What you seek will seek you back. The Talmud says, if you open your heart, the eye of a needle, a needle, you thread a needle, it's so tiny. You open up this much to the possibility. Just you wait what meets you in your day. Just you wait. But that's what we got to do. We got to open up just an inch, right? What else is possible if I set down who I keep telling myself I am and what I keep looking at reality through this lens of limitation? There's so much within you. And what you're looking for anyway is the wholeness that lives in you. The love that continues to be you and flows through you. You're a blessing. You're so incredibly creative, and you're not just ready, you're so over ready. You're so ready to set down everything that feels like it's real, but it's not real. And we can move that mountain by stepping into that higher conscious and moving from that place. And the water will boil and the synchronicity will come and it will be a different experience. So I hope that you will remember that you are this walking ball of fire and love and divinity. And I would ask yourself the question, could I change the world for 3 people today? And can one of those people be me? Can one of those people be me? We're not asked to change the world, but we're asked to change the world for one person every day. And what if that person is you? And from that, can you affect a ripple? Can you make a change? And can you call in a most delicious experience? I believe you can.